In this video tutorial, I will give you a brief demonstration of the Boolean search operators and a sample Boolean search. When you begin searching in OneSearch or a library database, normally you will just type in one or two keywords or more, a phrase, into the search line. When we do a Boolean search, however, it's normally best to open up the advanced search feature, although it is allowed for you to type in all of your words into the single line. You will notice that I've already conducted an advanced search for human evolution. So those are my first two keywords, and they're the most general part of my search. Moving down the lines, and notice I can add more lines, I will get more specific. So on the second line that you see, I've typed in bipedal or bipedalism. What you see here are two different examples of Boolean search operators at work. Over on the left-hand side, you will notice that on the second field it says and. Any field contains bipedal or bipedalism. So I type this in, but these here are database commands. And, or, and not are my options. And those are the three Boolean search operators that we will make use of in the library databases. And is by far the most commonly used search operator, or will be used periodically, and in some cases you might find that not will be useful. One thing to take away from this tutorial is that it's necessary in many library databases, including this one, to use and, or not in all capital letters. So notice the capital A-N-D, O-R, and the capital N-O-T. If I simply typed in O-R without using all caps, the word or would not be treated as a Boolean search operator. Some databases do not work that way, but it's a good habit to be in to always capitalize your Boolean operators so that you, the human, as you're reading through this, can clearly see what the computer is interpreting as a Boolean search operator and what is just one of your keywords. An important thing to note is that when I type in two words or more, the computer will automatically interpret my two keywords in this case with a Boolean search operator and between them, even though it's not printed there and it's not necessary for me to type. What that means is when I have more than one keyword, two in this case, if I added a third, what it does is it tells the computer to look for both of those words or all three or four of those words somewhere in the record, somewhere in the article record. It will privilege the words that are beside each other, just like you see here on the screen. But I could also, in this example, find a sample search where human and evolution were located somewhere in the article record. They do not have to be beside each other. Then I've said and here, using my database command feature that's built in, bipedal or bipedalism. So I could have come down here and said or bipedalism, but it's clearer to me when I'm reading this that I'm looking for the same term. I've just typed in two different variations of that word. So by using the word or here, it tells the computer that this term or that term is acceptable, but I do not want the computer to look for records that have both of those words. It's fine if they're both there, but they do not both have to be there. So that's the important distinction between and or. And tells the computer both words or all three words, however many words you type in, have to be there. Therefore, your search is going to be limited down. Or it tells the computer that one or the other is fine, but not necessarily both. Thus, our search will be expanded. So if I were to take out bipedalism, it's possible I might get a few less records. And you can see how or can be particularly useful when you have two or three terms that are fairly similar, but aren't the same. So for example, if I was looking for something about the way evolution is taught in school, I might also say, rather than bipedalism, I might say high school, which is two separate keywords, or secondary education, just as an example of the way that might work. These are both two different terms that describe essentially the same thing. In most cases, you would find academic journals would probably use secondary education. It's also possible that if I was searching through and doing a database search, there might be some terms that show up in my results that I'm not interested in seeing. So for example, let's say that looking at this first article here, I'm seeing some articles popping up about quadrupeds. And I could say, I don't want to see any articles with that term. That term is not what I'm looking for. People that are talking about that, that's not going to be useful to me. And so by excluding that search term, using the Boolean search operator not, I will then see articles that do not have that term, but that do have human evolution. And then, of course, I could add back bipedalism, for example. As in this example here, which would give me a fairly narrow set of results, still 2,000 articles to work through, so I would probably want to look a little bit more at maybe finding an exact, a third keyword to use in the and field. But overall, this gives you a demonstration of the three Boolean search operators, and, or not, and how you would use them over here on the left side in the built-in apparatus, but also typing them into a search box.